Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody, good morning. Hope everybody is ready for a new week and what this new week has in store, because it definitely has something in store for you. There's definitely a word from the Lord this morning. But before I get started, I will open up with a word of prayer. Oops, don't want to do that. Lord, in our precious name of Jesus, we just come to you now just to say thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for God you are. Thank you for your grace, your mercy, your love, your peace, your understanding. I pray that as we dive into your word this morning, that this word will edify us, that this word will just touch us in a mighty way. I just pray you just allow me to decrease and you increase in it through me, that your people may be edified, but most importantly, you may be glorified in and all through this. We love you, we honor you, and we praise you. I thank you for those who are going to spend the time to listen to this manna this morning, whether it's a live or the replay, that they're able to get something from you and able to start their week and start their month all great. We love you, we honor you, and we praise your name, Jesus Christ. Pray, amen. If you have missed Morning Man, you can always catch up on Morning Manna. I'm highly suggesting everybody subscribe. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because YouTube's the only place that stores my videos. Although I'm live on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6:30. YouTube's the only place that stores my manas. Everywhere else deletes them after a certain period of time. So please, ma'am, please, sir, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at I am JaNea Amelia, so that you can catch up on your morning manna. But also don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. My name is I'm JaNea Amelia on everything except TikTok. My name is JaNea Amelia Speaks. So I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 to bring you a word from the Lord. So since it is a new month, so every month I start a new series, and I'll talk about the series for the entire month. Since it is a new month, we are starting a new series today. It's going to be a very uncomfortable series, I feel like, but it's something that we need to talk about, because we need to learn how to have uncomfortable conversations. We just need to know how to have uncomfortable conversations. So Lord kind of dropped this in my spirit. I was like, what? But he kind of dropped this into my spirit. So we're going to talk about the residue of betrayal. The residue of betrayal. That's what we're going to talk about for the entire month of December. The residue of betrayal. I know we're going to get into Advent season and all that. We'll see if the Lord leads me in that direction as we talk about the residue of betrayal, but that's what he gave me, and that's what we're going to talk about for the month of December. I'm not going to forget about Christmas and all of that, but we're talking about the residue of betrayal. So this is definitely something you do not want to miss, because the Lord is definitely going to speak in and through this series, because I'm going to let him. We're going to have uncomfortable conversations this month. So this morning, we're going to come from the subject called going forward. Going forward. So the residue of betrayal is the series, but today we're going to come from the subject going forward. So residue is defined as, well, what I defined it as is being whatever's left, right? Residue is defined as what is left. Google said that residue is something that remains after a part is taken, separated, or designated, or after the completion of a process. Google said betrayal is defined as a violation of a person's trust or confidence of a moral standard. Whatever we experience in life, we can encounter a time where we have to push forward past a violation and live with it. That's pretty much going past a violation. Someone violated you, someone crossed the line with you, and we still have to know how to live with it, right? That happens to us. It happens to us, whether it's based off circumstance, whether it's based off a person, whatever. We have gotten to a point where we have to push forward past a violation or someone violating us or a situation violating us, and we still have to live with it, right? This series, I believe, will speak life into you and take what you have left in a positive light. That's why I said residue of betrayal, because there's something left after betrayal, right? So I believe that there's whatever is left, there's something you can do with that. Whatever is left, there's 100% something you can do with that. But today we're going to talk about going forward, which will be the first installation of or installment of this series of Residue of Betrayal. This will be the first installment of this series of Residue of Betrayal. All right, so I want to come from Genesis chapter 50, verses 19 through 21, the English Standard Version. Genesis chapter 50, verses 19 through 21. And I want to come from the English Standard Version. It says, "But Joseph said to them, 'Do not fear, for I am in the place of God. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. So do not fear, I'll provide for you and your little ones.' Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them." What Joseph's brothers did was horribly wrong. But even though their sinful actions, or even though there were sinful actions, God orchestrated something bigger than what was actually seen. They had a small scale, or his brothers had a small scale evil intentions, but God was overriding their evil for eternal good. Joseph recognized that the detours of his life were part of God's plan at the end of the day. So Joseph's brothers definitely did something that was very, very bad to Joseph. And he had the right to be angry at them. However, these verses really show that Joseph teaches us that we should know how to move forward as far as there being a residue of betrayal. All that had happened was part of God's plan to bring about the fulfillment of the promised blessing. Joseph also promised again to provide for them, and he spoke kindly to them despite of what they have done. He teaches us, like I said, he teaches us the importance of being able to go forward regardless of the betrayal that was done towards them. Instead of looking back, right, he decides to look forward, or he went forward. You have to be willing to go forward, because at the end of the day, all things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. If you continue to sit in a funk, you're never going to be able to move forward or push past what may have happened to you. Now, am I discrediting or invalidating what has happened to you? Absolutely not. But we have to understand we still have to be willing to go forward. Betrayal is hard to take in, but if you fail to go forward, the residue will hold you back rather than give you the sediments to push forward. The residue isn't supposed to be a bad thing. I think that's the whole focus of the series. The residue of it isn't supposed to be a bad thing, but you need to use the little bit that's left in you to continue to push forward, not allow it to hold you back. Joseph's brothers plotted against him and threw him in a pit or empty well, and later sold him as a slave. How can someone move forward past that? Y'all did this to me, but I'm going to still sit here and say, I'm going to still speak kindly to you. I'm going to still do this for you. I'm going to still do that for you. Although you threw me in a pit and tried to sell me or sold me as a slave. That's betrayal. That's definitely betrayal, but Joseph didn't lean on that, right? He pushed past that because he understood that what happened was a part of God's plan, and God used their little evil intentions to still use Joseph, and also to still fulfill the purpose and plan that God had for Joseph's life. So nobody could really get in the way of what God really planned for Joseph's life. But how could Joseph go forward from that, looking at the big picture? So we have to understand that sometimes our finite brain, right? Because we're humans, our finite brain can kind of put us in a place where we're very limited on how we look at things. We're very limited as far as our perspective. We're very limited in how we take things in. But we have to be able to see things from a bigger picture. That's the only way you can go forward. You have to see things in a bigger picture. I've had to learn that in my life, when things have happened, that everything in God is safe. If I feel as though that I am in God, if I feel as though that God has me protected, God has me covered, that everything within the boundaries of God, everything as far as me is safe. Yes, I had to go through X, Y, and Z. Yes, I had to deal with X, Y, and Z. But in order for me to go forward, I have to understand that there's a bigger picture ahead of me. Did he have the right, or did Joseph have the right to be angry? Absolutely, he had the right to be angry. But we're starting this series discussing the fact that you need to go forward regardless of what is left and what has happened. You have to be still willing to go forward regardless of what's left and what has happened. It is very hard to do this. And I'm saying this because from experience, it is very hard. It's very hard because it's very easy for us to go back on, well, they did this and they did that, this, that, and the third. It's so easy to do that. But we have to understand, we have to look at things from a bigger picture. But we have to take a page from Joseph's life and still love and show kindness regardless. We still have to show love and kindness regardless. Yes, what they did was meant for evil, but God turned it to good, right? And we have to understand that as you go forward. So as you deal with the residue of betrayal, as you deal with trying to navigate life, as you deal with trying to go forward from something that happened to you that was probably detrimental, something that was probably harmful, something that probably like took your mind to a place you never thought it would go to, understand you still have to go forward. You still have to go forward. Those people, that person, that situation will still be there. There's still residue of it. I'm not saying to ignore it, but I'm trying to tell you that you still have to be willing to go forward. Betrayal is hard to take in, but we fail to take the residue that's left and use that as a motivation to go forward. I feel like we'll never learn or never see the fact that God had a bigger picture for everything, that God had a bigger plan for everything. I just believe the story of Joseph is just a very, very good story to start with in terms of knowing how to go forward despite of what they did to you. You still have to speak to your opposer. You still have to look at your opposer. You still have to say things to your opposer, but you know what? You're still going to go forward because what they did doesn't matter because God's hand was still in it. Although they had evil intentions for you, God's hand was still in it. So you have to be still willing to go forward. We cannot stay in a funk and expect to still matriculate through God's plan, at least matriculate through God's plan in peace, right? We can be in a funk and we still have to matriculate through his plan, but where is your mind as you matriculate through his plan? Joseph was able to say these things because he found peace in this, right? He was able to find peace in this so that he could matriculate through God's plan. That's what you have to do as well. Yes, it was bad. But God's plan, God's purpose, what God is doing, God's providence, God's sovereignty still stands regardless of what we go through. But I'm just trying to encourage you today to go forward. Move forward. I guess I could have said move forward, but I said going forward. Move forward regardless of the residue of the betrayal. Regardless of the residue of the betrayal, you still have to go forward. You can't stop. You still have to go forward. Not go forward nastily, not go forward and trying to get revenge because vengeance is mine, saith Lord. We're going to talk about that too. But we have to be willing to go forward, have the intention to go forward. It all starts in your mind. Everything starts in your mind. I just want you to get in your spirit right now on this 1st of December, I am going forward. If you could type that in the comments, I am going forward. I don't care what happened. I don't care what's happening right now. I am going forward, but I'm going forward with the understanding that God's plan still stands. God's purpose is still there. I'm under his protection. Whatever was meant for evil, God still is going to turn it for good. We have to be able to have that in our spirit. That's why we're starting this series with going forward. I am going forward. Yes, there is residue from the betrayal, but I am going forward. It's not going to stop me. It's going to motivate me and push me to continue to go forward. I am going forward. I am going forward. That's something we're going to have to understand if we're going to really get this series of the residue of betrayal. We have to start out with putting in our mindset that we are going for, regardless of what it seems like, regardless of what is happening, that we are going forward. It doesn't matter what happened, it doesn't matter how it happened. I am going forward. If you could put that in the comments, I am going forward. I'm not going to look back. I'm going to look ahead. Yes, they did that, but you know what? I'm still standing. And because I'm still standing, that's all that matters. That is all that matters. So I hope this word bless you this morning. If you feel led, come below. Use the interactions when you guys do that. Really helps Manna's get out. I greatly appreciate that. I'm very excited for where this series is going to take us because it's going to be really good. Don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. My name is JaNea Hailey on everything except TikTok. My name is JaNea Hailey Speaks on TikTok. Also, don't forget to follow my ministry, the Outcry Experience. I'll be having an Outcry Experience in 2026. I had 2 in 2025, and we're going to continue with the flow in 2026. So please, ma'am, please, sir, follow the Outcry Experience. It's an in-person worship encounter. It's not another church service, but it's a move of God. Right now, I'm in a vein of prayer lock-ins. I do 3-hour prayer lock-ins. That's what the first one in 2026 is going to be. Right now, I'm in a vein of, like I said, prayer lock-ins. I did drop the theme on my personal Facebook page, and it's also on the Instagram page, and it's also on TikTok page for the Outcry Experience. So you should definitely tap into that and be excited for what the Lord is going to do, because He's going to do an amazing work with the Outcry Experience, because I'm going to let Him do an amazing work with the Outcry Experience. So as you go through your Monday and Tuesday, just keep in mind, I'm going forward. I'm going forward. It starts with your mind. Maybe you need to say that in your prayers. Maybe you need to just say that out loud as like an affirmation, as a confirmation. I'm going forward. And you're going to go forward with the attitude that, everything works out with God, right? No matter what someone may do against you, God still has a greater plan, 100% a greater plan for your life. So thank you guys for watching. I will definitely see everybody on Wednesday for May We Push as we continue with this Residue of Betrayal series. I hope you're excited as much as I am for this series, but God bless you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.